What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gridiron here at House Call Sports. That's Mike. My name is Sammy HT. And today we'll be discussing the Jets' fall from grace, or, well, not really a fall. They've always been bad. The Kansas City Chiefs. Can anybody stop them? The Lions are the king of the North for now, and a lot more. We thank you guys so much for joining this video. But before we get started, let's go ahead and shout out our sponsor, Vivid Seats. Vivid Seats is the most trustworthy and easy to navigate ticketing website. They have reliable and rewarding tickets and a 100% buyer's guarantee, which means your transaction will be safe and secure. You will get full service customer care and be compensated for any canceled event. And it's got the only rewards program around. All of that means, ladies and gentlemen, that the NFL season is at an all-time high right now. And if you're not getting tickets through Vivid Seats, I don't know what the heck you're doing. On top of all that, the NBA season is starting. The NHL is starting. Ladies and gents, go to Vivid Seats, hit the link in the description, and go sit vividly now. It's been a very interesting weekend of pro football. And I know, there are a lot of talks concerning the MVP. Who's it gonna be? Is it Josh Allen? Is it Joe Burrow? Well, after last night, there shouldn't be any doubt who the MVP is. At this point, it's Lamar Jackson, and it really isn't close from any standpoint. Lamar Jackson this season has 15 touchdowns for 2 interceptions. He's top 5 in passing yards and has the highest passer rating amongst all quarterbacks. His team is 5-2, winning 5 straight games. Last night he threw for 5 touchdowns and 270 plus yards. So, Mike, there's really no discussion here who's the MVP. I mean, I don't really think there is.
No, he's running away with it. He's absolutely running away with it. Getting Derrick Henry, that's all he needed. Now he's got Derrick Henry. He's got the perfect complement. I mean, he is running away with this award. 15 touchdowns with 2 picks, like you said, unbelievable. I mean, what else can the guy do? He's lighting up on the field right now. He's absolutely lighting the field up. I mean, all last night, the Bucs were trying. They were chasing it best they could, and he just made it look easy out there. He's been doing it all season, and this is probably the best I've seen Lamar look.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing I wanted to discuss. Lamar Jackson has never looked better as a runner, as a passer, and I think I'm ready to put my hands down right now and say he's the best quarterback in the league right now. I understand the narrative around who it truly is any given year, and a lot of people are going to say it's Patrick Mahomes, and you're not going to hear an argument from me. But Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are in 2 different trajectories in how their teams are winning. That team is winning. That team, Kansas City, is winning. Not necessarily in spite of Patrick Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes is clearly not playing his best football. Lamar Jackson is the core for why the Ravens have won 5 straight games so far. And, you mentioned Derrick Henry. You mentioned Derrick Henry, Mike, and I want to really continue talking about that duo of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. We are 7 weeks in. Derrick Henry has rushed for 873 yards. He is hands down. He's the leader right now in rushing yards, and it's not. I don't think it's really close. It isn't. He leads by almost 200. I mean, this duo of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson it's incredible, and I knew a lot of people thought it would be OP, this running game, but the fact that it's this good is scary. Obviously, it's very early on in the season, 7 weeks in, but it's definitely lives up to the hype, Mike.
Yeah, no, Derrick Henry looks incredible. He got bad himself last night. He had the 81-yard rushing, and he said that he should have got to the end zone. He said he's going to be work on his speed, which is pretty funny. But it seems like he does this every single game now. He's got a breakout every game. He's killing it right now, and I knew that was going to happen. You paired him next to Lamar Jackson. You got the perfect combination now. That's all they needed. That was it. Now he's gonna have a breakout season. He's probably gonna rush for 1,500 yards. Probably get 10 to 15 touchdowns. So I mean, good luck stopping the Ravens right now. I mean, they stumbled out of the gate. They lost 2, but now they got 5 in a row, and they're rolling.
Yeah, they're rolling, and I don't think any team right now is really gonna be able to really stop it. Here's the company that Lamar Jackson could potentially be joining. There have only been 5 back-to-back winners for the MVP title, and the last player to do it was Aaron Rodgers. Here are the other names to be doing this: Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, and Jim Brown. This is all-time trajectory we are entering for Lamar Jackson. And on top of all that, like forget about back-to-back MVPs. How many players have actually won 3 MVPs? Well, only 6. And Lamar Jackson is about to be the 7th, barring anything. Because really, who's really going to be a candidate? The only person I can really see catching Lamar Jackson is Josh Allen right now. I think Josh Allen is probably the closest. But even then, the way Lamar Jackson played last night, I really don't think I really think there's a significant gap between the two players right now, Mike.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Josh Allen, adding Amari Cooper, he's definitely going to have his stats go up. So I expect him to definitely improve more and more and more every week. But right now it is a runaway. I think the gap is about this much. You got Lamar up here and maybe Allen right here. So it's we'll see how it goes going on forward for the season. But right now I think Lamar Jackson is a unanimous MVP.
Yeah, and it's not even close. I mean, and what's incredible is that Lamar Jackson, last year, there was a little bit of like an uncertainty. Like, should he really have won MVP? I mean, look at the stats. He's not really like leading in any categories. But all everybody said was, look at the tape. Look at how he's playing. Look how he impacts his team.
He's electric.
And now it's like, you know what? You didn't believe me then. You're gonna believe me now. And statistically, he's backing it up on the tape. He's backing it up. He's backing up in all assets. And to be honest, this year, I think this is the best chance the Ravens have, because I don't think we've seen a better version of Lamar Jackson. We've not seen a better version of this run game. Obviously, the defense, in my opinion, could take a bit of a step forward. I think there's a little bit of I think you could see the defense kind of teetering in the back. They did force a couple turnovers against another MVP candidate in Baker Mayfield, but I do think that there's still a little bit more to be desired from that defense. But other than that, I mean, you're not gonna see me complaining about how the Ravens have been playing, Mike. It's really been sensational to watch.
Yeah, this has to be their year. I mean, if this is not the year, there won't be a year with Lamar Jackson. They have the best team on the field right now that they've ever had. Lamar's playing at the highest level he's ever played at, and Derrick Henry is just running everybody over or running right past him. So this is the year. If they don't do it this year, I don't think they're ever going to do it.
Yeah, not with if Lamar can't win it here, then there's no question it's not going to happen. Let's go towards a much bleaker topic, or in our case, is a little bit of a funny topic. So the New York Jets lost last Sunday night. It was a very interesting game, to say the least. The Jets were up 15-6 heading towards the second half until Aaron Rodgers threw an interception. They went down the field. They scored a touchdown, and from that moment on, it was just all Steelers. All Steelers. They ended up scoring 24 unanswered after that, and it was just over. But as much as I want to talk so well about the Steelers, who I think have been fantastic this year, I think, we all questioned the move of Justin Fields over Russell Wilson over Justin Fields. I think last night you saw why they really trusted Russell Wilson out there. I thought George Pickens looked the best he's ever looked, that he's looked all year long with Justin Fields on the field. And then Russell Wilson, on top of that, he looked like he played well. He didn't play special, but he played well. And a part of me wants to fully credit Russ, but we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about the Jets now, because the Jets, I mean, Mike, I'll hand it over to you. I mean, you must be very, very animated about how the Jets have looked this year.
They've looked like a dumpster fire. I mean, look at who they got at the helm. Aaron Rodgers. He's a diva. I knew this was going to happen. He's never been a true leader. It's the reason he only has one Super Bowl. And this is just what it is. I mean, honestly, it wasn't his fault. The interception they threw to Garrett Wilson hit Garrett Wilson right on the numbers. And I don't know what happened. Just kind of hit him in the chest pad, bounced out, and almost ran it back for a touchdown. But from then on, it was a steamroll by the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jets, I mean, what do you got to do, man? Do you know that last season they actually had a better record with Zach Wilson than they do with Aaron Rodgers, which is incredible. I mean, think about that. They were 4-3 last year with Zach Wilson. This year they're 2-5 with Aaron Rodgers. And then they go and get Devontae Adams because that's what Rodgers wanted. And Devontae was already on the Pat McAfee show the next day. It's like they already knew it the night before. Best buddies, they were so excited to get back to the field, and he only had 3 catches for 30 yards. So how'd that work out? I mean, right now, if I was a New York Jets fan, I would just be telling myself, what do we got to do? What do we got to do? Look, Hassan Reddick is coming back. I mean, what do you do? Is that really going to help him? I don't know what's going to help the Jets at this point. I think Woody Johnson has no idea what he's doing, being the owner of that team. I think he made a desperate move. I don't think he should have got rid of Robert Saleh. That defense was playing lights out. And if you want to hit, I mean, look at Belichick leaving the Patriots. Now they're like 25th in the league. So when you have a defensive coach and the defense is playing well, you don't get rid of them. It's not the move to make. You don't make a panic move. And now you're going to, what's the excuse now? Who's going to get the blame now? I'm excited to look at it going forward. I know the Jets are going to jet. So I'm just sitting back and loving it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm sitting back and loving it, even though the apparel might say that I am. But I will say it's a little comical because all off season long and last 2 seasons, Mike, if I'm not mistaken, it's been Aaron Rodgers is on the Jets. They got to be Super Bowl contenders. And a lot of us, and I always said they'll be a good team. They'll be okay. I always said that. I never said they were Super Bowl contenders. I always said they'll be a good team because they do have Aaron Rodgers. And the defense is elite. If there's anything we could say about the New York Jets the last 4 seasons with Robert Saleh as head coach, it's that their defense was elite. It was an elite defense. And there was a stat I read on Twitter. There is on the last 4 seasons, there's only one team that has scored to fail 100 points. Take a guess who it is.
The Jets.
It's a freaking Jets, and I'm gonna look up this. I'm gonna look up the stat just in case I'm tripping, but that just goes to show like exactly what this is exactly what has been the problem with the Jets. They think that they can solve the problem by putting a Band-Aid on it, and that's never been the case. It has never been the case. It's always been more than just an Aaron Rodgers is gonna come in, so we'll be fine problem. It's always been more than that. But they seemingly thought to themselves, oh, well, I mean, yeah, Aaron Rodgers kind of sucks, but like Aaron Rodgers sucks right now, but there's other problems, let's get him another wide receiver. It made no sense. And I'll read you the stat right here. Only one team in the NFL has failed to score 100 plus touchdowns. I apologize. It was not points, 100 plus touchdowns over the course of the last 4 seasons. It's the New York Football Jets. And you want to tell me you're going to fire the head coach that has been the saving grace of a defense that was not good for the most part in all of Jets history. The Jets defense has not been good. And here we are again. Mike, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Your defense is at the top of the league. Your team, and I'm going to look up real quick the amount of points. It's funny. It's the funniest thing in the world, Mike, because you would think if you ask the Jets fans, if you ask all the Jets fans, they'll tell you, oh, the defense is fantastic. Of course. And any NFL fan would tell you that the defense is fantastic. Here are the amount of points that they scored before the firing of Robert Saleh. 19, 24, 24, 10, 23. I'm going to show you the points that the defense allowed. The defense, oh, my bad. I misread that last part. They scored 17 points in their loss against the Vikings. I'm sorry. But here, since that Niners lost, They only allowed 17 points to the Titans. They only allowed 3 points to the Patriots. They only allowed 9 points. Or my bad, they only allowed 10 points against the Broncos. And against the Vikings, the defense played well. They only allowed 23 points. By the way, I didn't even mention the fact that there was a pick six in that game that Aaron Rodgers threw. So that point is even skewed. So what we're gonna do, we're not gonna fire the man responsible for the putrid offense that you've been putting on the field. What we're gonna do instead, we're going to fire the head coach that has been the staple of the defense. I'm not saying he was an elite head coach. I'm not saying he was a bad head coach, but was he the reason you guys were losing games? The answer was a clear, definitive no. And you still let him go. And now look, you fire him. Your defense since then has given up 23 points to the Bills is meh. But 37 points. 37 points to the Steelers. And if you watch if you watch the actual game, the defense has looked significantly worse. Significantly worse. And the offense has not changed. Even with the additions of Devontae Adams.
It's embarrassing.
What are we doing here?
It's embarrassing.
Woody Johnson. Eventually, you're going to have to sit back and realize I assembled a bad football team. It's not that this isn't going right or that isn't going right. The football team that you assembled, even though it's a talented team, it's not a true football unit. You brought in individuals thinking it would work, and Mike, it hasn't.
No, football's a team game. It's not one individual guy. That's why Aaron Rodgers was not your Lord and Savior. It's not going to happen. You need and first of all, the biggest thing is he's got to be the ultimate leader. Do you really think that everybody is following Aaron Rodgers, like with everything that he says, the way he conducts himself? He throws everybody under the bus. Look what he did with Mike Williams because he didn't run the right route. Called him out in the media. You just don't do things like that. I lost all respect, when I saw that. And the defense, that was the one thing you could hang your hat on. And they went and got rid of Robert Saleh, who that was probably the best defense in the league the last 2 years. With Sauce Gardner back there on Sauce Gardner Island, he's been locking people up. And
DJ Reed, Quinnen Williams.
Disgusting defense. And now it's like, what are you going to do? Giving up 37 points to the Russell Wilson and the Pittsburgh Steelers? Come on. You're going to make Russell Wilson look like 2012 Russell Wilson again. He's throwing bombs back. I thought I was watching a replay game or something. He looked incredible. But he
did look incredible.
He did, and good for him. He got.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I'm happy for Russ, but Jets got to do better. If I'm that fan base, it would take all the fun out of football for me.
Yeah, without the Jets, I think we I think the Jets. I feel bad. A part of me feels bad, and I'll tell you why. Because Jets fans have been suffering year after year after year. And they got hope when they traded for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but Brady's gone. No big bad Patriots.
Yeah, no big bad Patriots. They brought in Aaron Rodgers. They thought, oh, this is Christmas. This is it. This is finally the time. A part of me should have known that the Jets were going to somehow find a way to screw this up. But I thought the team was just too talented to even remotely screw it up. But a bad organization, and I'll say it, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Bad organizations know how to remain bad organizations, no matter what happens to them, no matter what kind of good goes their way, they will remain bad organizations. And for the Jets, nothing else really needs to be said. You assembled this football team, and you've given out every excuse. You've said, oh, it's Robert Saleh. Oh, we need another weapon. Oh, wait till Hassan Reddick gets back. The team's not good.
No,
it's not good. And I think that at the end of the day is the very, very bottom line. We'll switch gears. We'll switch gears to the Kansas City Chiefs. And This is a team that has not necessarily dominated, a team that has not necessarily played well through 7 weeks of football, but a team that is undefeated still at 6-0. And I decided to go and look where they rank. What's making the team 6-0? What's making the team so dominant, or not necessarily dominant, but what's making the team click, right? And I'm looking, and here's something you could hang your hat on. They're top 10 in yards per game defensively. They're top 5 in points per game defensively. So defensively, they're not bad. They're a top red zone. They're a top red zone scoring defense. They're 9th in the league in red zone scoring. They're 10th in the league so they're top 10, but they're not top 5. It's like they're top 5 in defense, but like the top 5 in defensive scoring. But obviously yards matter. And look, credit to the Chiefs defense. I don't want to discredit them, but like the defense has been great. But is it 6-0 great? I don't see anything here that screams 6-0 great. Here's what might scream 6-0 great. Their defense, their rushing defense is 4th in the league. So that might be a reason, right? But then we look at the offense. And that's where I really start to question, how the heck is this team even? They're 25th in red zone scoring, Mike.
That's crazy.
They're 25th in red zone scoring. Yeah, they're 10th in yards per game, but they're 13th in points per game. They're middle of the pack. They're vanilla. They're 16th in yards per game. Their passing offense, I mean, again, vanilla. They're the 16th in passes per game. They're 12th in passing yards per game. 12th in yards per pass. Patrick Mahomes, we've already discussed him a bit. Let's go ahead and get into it deeper. He hasn't played that well this year. 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Mike, I gotta ask, if this is the worst we're gonna see the Kansas City Chiefs right now, who's gonna stop them in November and December and January? Because it's this is the worst that we're getting from the Chiefs. The Chiefs have not looked that good. We've seen it. And I mean, it seems like they find a way to win, Mike.
Yeah, it's unreal. It seems like you just have to have Patrick Mahomes show up, and that's a win. That's all they got to do now. I mean, they don't even have Rashee Rice. They don't have Pacheco. They've got an aging Travis Kelce that has not looked good at all this year. Looks like he's lost a few steps. And still, continue to win. 6-0. And at this point, I don't know what you can do. Because when they start clicking, it's a wrap. I mean, I think, again, with the organization thing, this is a good organization that knows how to win. They have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and they're going out there and they're doing it. So they're going to be scary down the line. If they're 6-0 now, I mean, maybe they're going undefeated this year. I mean, they're going to start figuring it out.
I hope to God not. I hope to God not. For my Dolphins' sake, that's the only thing we got to hold on to. I pray to God we don't. But yeah. I will say this, though. They got what I call football's holy trinity. They got an elite play caller, an elite defensive play caller, and an elite quarterback. When you have 3 of those, you can win Super Bowls galore. That's all it is.
Yep.
So, and even like the only time I think that really has never been the case is the Tom Brady era. And the Tom Brady era, you didn't really have an elite play caller, but you had Tom Brady. You had Bill Belichick, who's the greatest defensive mind in pro football history.
Yes.
Right. So that when you pair the greatest quarterback ever with the greatest defensive mind ever, you're gonna win 7 Super Bowls. But now you pair one of the greatest defensive minds with Steve Spagnuolo. You pair arguably the best offensive mind we've ever seen in Andy Reid. You pair him with one of the greatest QB talents we've ever seen, and one of the greatest QBs ever. I mean, no matter how bad Patrick Mahomes has necessarily looked, and if you watch the tape, he hasn't been playing bad, but I mean, if you look at the touchdown interception ratio, we're 7 weeks in, and he has 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Like,
yeah, It's crazy.
I can't even speak. Like, what do we even do? Because this is the worst it's gonna look, Mike.
I know.
This is it. This is it. Like everybody's praying on their downfall. The downfall is happening. The downfall is happening, and they're still winning. Mike.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary. I mean, this organization's just got it figured out. It's plug and play at this point. It's impressive. I mean, Worthy has been that was a great pick for them, getting a speedster from Mahomes. I mean, that's what they're good at. And then you still got Hardman there. That was that Super Bowl winning touchdown he had. So he's been good. They went and got Juju, and he's actually playing great again. Shocker. But Mahomes really hasn't looked good. 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, nothing. And when he starts figuring it out and that defense is already playing well, that's a wrap. They're going to be in the Super Bowl again.
I mean, you better hope that's not the case. I mean,
it's the case.
I mean, I think everybody. I mean, there are a lot of AFC teams that we thought would have a chance, right? I mean, the Texans, the Ravens. People thought maybe the Bengals, right? Like there are teams in the AFC that we thought, hey, you know, I mean, don't never say never, right? Like it can't be that bad. It can't be that bad. But no, I mean, clearly, it's as bad as it seems. And I early on this year, I said that the Chiefs, you know, don't count them out. I said the Chiefs we're good. Don't count out the Chiefs because, well, the Chiefs are just they've been to back-to-back Super Bowls. You just can't count them out. Well, we're here now, and after 28-18 win against a juggernaut in the NFC. Well, not necessarily a juggernaut, but they're 3-4.
Used to be.
They used to be a juggernaut, and I would imagine they're still the class of the NFC. It's November. Not November. It's October, so we'll give it a shot. But I mean, I guess the moral of the story is like if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a freaking duck. If it's Patrick Mahomes and it's Andy Reid, you're gonna win. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you might think of the team construction. It doesn't matter if you think that certain players aren't going to be the same. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is this. You got Patrick Mahomes, you got Andy Reid, you got Steve Spagnuolo. You're going to win. And honestly, for the rest of the AFC and the rest of the NFL, it's a nightmare. It really is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. They're doing nothing special. It's a vanilla offense so far. The defense been great, but it hasn't been what it was. It wasn't what it was last year. They're literally vanilla. They're just like vanillaing their way through their record. They faced plenty of great teams, and they still win, man. They still freaking win. I can't explain it. I cannot. It's like the Patriots, man. It's like the Patriots dynasty. Like they so many things could go wrong. So many things you think are happening. Like I know we consider the Patriots dynasty one of the greatest dynasties in all of sports, and it's a very like, you know, grand. It's a very grand dynasty to compare it to because it's just 6 Super Bowls is nuts. But I mean,
if Mahomes wins this year, he has 4.
He has 4, and all of a sudden the conversations keep ranking up on where he is amongst the all-time greats. He's only 29. I mean, 10 years down the line, who knows how many rings this guy's gonna have? I mean, it's not it's not an easy thought, especially when you got teams like the Dolphins trying to just get one, you know what I mean? So
yeah. I mean, he might catch Brady at this rate, the way he's playing. I mean, he had that sit down with Brady too that was pretty full before the game because Brady was calling the game, and he said you're what I'm chasing. So we'll see what happens. I think he can catch Brady. I never thought I would say that, but the way this guy's playing and he's already got 3, possibly going on 4 this year. I mean, that's incredible. It's not
even him. It's just the way his teams are constantly just finding ways. Like it's the same thing with Brady. Like Brady, the teams Brady played on always found a way. It didn't matter if it was the damn Patriots, or if it was even the Buccaneers, he'd find a way.
Yeah,
he'd
and
find a way.
Before he went to the Buccaneers, all those years he was on the Patriots, he never had an elite wide receiver until Randy Moss.
Right.
And it was the 1 year, and you gave him that, he got 50 touchdowns. So,
right. And the last 2 years, he hasn't had an elite target at wide receiver either. He's really he had Travis Kelce, but even last year, Travis Kelce was kind of slowing down a bit. You only saw the peak of Travis Kelce when the playoffs started, and you finally found a guy like Rashee Rice, and they thought they were going to have Rashee Rice this year. Turns out that's not going to be the case. Turns out he's going to be going it alone. It's going to be a run game, the defense, and Patrick Mahomes, and that's it. And that might the scary part is that might be enough to win the Super Bowl. That's
terrifying. That's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It's ridiculous. But let's shift gears to the Lions. They're the kings of the North. Call them Jon Snow. They have been a buzzsaw since they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They won this game against the Vikings 31-29. Jared Goff threw for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had a near perfect passer rating of 140. He was 22 of 25. He only missed 3 passes. You add Jahmyr Gibbs, buck 160, rushing with 2 touchdowns. I mean, it was a great display of offense from the Detroit Lions against a Vikings defense, that was hands down the best defense in the league up until they ran into a Detroit Lions. Look at that second quarter. If you're looking at the box score, 21 points unanswered, and that ended up being what really decided the game. And credit to the Vikings for keeping this game close. Sam Darnold played an okay game. He was 259 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. I think the offense still leaves a little bit more to be desired if you're the Vikings. I do think that there are some aspects of the offense you wish were a little bit more explosive. In the game, Aaron Jones ran the ball relatively well, but he only had 14 carries, 93 yards. Justin Jefferson, 7 catches, 81 yards. So the offense in general wasn't bad. I would say the offense was pretty good, but it just not enough, clearly. And sometimes you just run into a team like the Lions, who are the class of the NFC last year, they're just a better team right now. On the road, tough win, Mike.
Yeah, it was. It was a really hard best of the year for the Lions. And, first game without Aiden Hutchinson, so good for them. Jared Goff has been the most consistent quarterback for the last 2 seasons. I mean, this year alone, he's been so consistent. He had one game where he went 18 for 18. I mean, he's just, when you're being that consistent, you're making the right reads and you're doing that, you're going to win a lot of games. And Jared Goff is showing that right now. And the Lions right now, top to bottom, are the best team in the NFL. The Ravens are probably the only ones I would say are close to that. Dan Campbell, I'd run through a wall for. I think he's the perfect coach for that team.
Right.
I think there was when he first had his introductory thing, says he drinks like 10 espressos or whatever a morning. So, which he doesn't even look like he needs, but he just leads by example. It's fun to watch. Yeah, 100%. And the Lions right now, Jahmyr Gibbs, he's having a great year right now. And Amon-Ra starting to pick it up. He had a great game last game. I think he had a couple tutties. So the Lions are somebody to fear right now. They've been good for the last 2 seasons. They've been building on this for a while. And they got close. They were a game away. They were blowing out the Niners last year. And they were on their way to the Super Bowl. And, I think they want to get back there. And I think they will. I think, we have a potential to see them in the Super Bowl this year. But good for them. And for the Vikings are for real. They played a hard-fought game. They had a lead with about a few minutes left in that game. They only lost by a field goal. So the Vikings are for real. Sam Darnold's having a resurrection year. He's back. He has shown what he could have been on the Jets if he wasn't on the Jets. And Justin Jefferson, Jettis, I mean, he's having another great season. He's finally staying healthy. So it's exciting. It's good. I look forward to watching the rest of the Vikings the rest of the year. If they can get that running game going, it was a great pickup there on Aaron Jones. And they're a complete football team as well. So, this is one of the better games of the weekend. You had 2 of the top teams going against each other. And that day, the better team was the Lions. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see down the line how how this division goes. So right now we got an edge for the Lions, but we also got teams like the Packers lurking, who they look relatively good. The defense is looking a little bit better. With the gunslinger like Jordan Love, and then the Bears even are 4-2 off a bye week. So like this division in general, if you win this division, your team is a Super Bowl contender and should be a favorite, in my opinion, to win the Super Bowl. I mean, this is the class of the NFC. All four of these teams, and I know a lot of people don't want to point at the Bears because like it's the Bears, and how are we going to take them seriously? Look, man, they're 4-2 right now. Okay, and Caleb Williams, if he starts to turn it around, he starts to play at an elite level. We already know that Bears defense is pretty damn good. The Bears could be the shocker in this division. We might see 4 teams from this division win go to the playoffs. So I'm excited to see. I'm really excited to see how this division plays out. I think this is the closest a division has been in a very long time, and I've never seen a division where genuinely, not on paper, but genuinely, all 4 teams look like they could potentially win this division. It's not like the AFC East last year where, oh my gosh, you see the teams that you see the teams that are on this, and they just, most of them are just, and it's just the Bills again. It's not like that. I think this year genuinely we could be seeing. I wouldn't be surprised the Packers sneak up and take this division like they have in the past. So we'll see. We'll definitely see what happens. But right now, the Lions are the king of the North, and until proven otherwise, I think they should be the favorites to win this division. We thank you guys so much for joining Gridiron here at House Call Sports. My name has been Sam. That has been Mike. Please subscribe and follow all our social media platforms. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We are on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're everywhere. Go ahead and follow us there. Subscribe and like the video, and just let us know what you guys think.